The worst thing isn't that she forgot about you, it's that she can't stop thinking about you, but still chooses not to come back. Sounds paradoxical? In psychology, this is called cognitive dissonance, conflicting thoughts. She's simultaneously holding two opposite beliefs. He matters to me, and I can't be with him. And when the brain can't resolve this conflict, it chooses the safest option: to stay frozen. And in this video, I'm going to help you understand three things: why she thinks about you but doesn't act, what signs show this is obsession rather than love, and most importantly, when you should stop waiting and move forward. I'm sharing this because you deserve clarity, not confusion. This isn't about hurting anyone. It's about helping you see what's really happening so you can choose what's best for you. Let me be honest with you. When she's cold, when she's distant, when she's acting like you don't exist, that's not always indifference. Sometimes it's the exact opposite. Sometimes the colder she acts on the outside, the more she's consumed on the inside. But here's where everyone makes the mistake. They think this means hope. They think if she's thinking about me, she must still care. I just need to wait a little longer. No, let me explain what's actually happening in her brain. When someone has an avoidant attachment style, and this is backed by neuroscience research, their amygdala, the emotional center of the brain, activates differently than secure people when they think about someone they care about. For most people, thinking about someone they love triggers the reward system. It feels good. It creates oxytocin, that bonding hormone. But for avoidant individuals, their prefrontal cortex, the logical control center, goes into overdrive instead. Their brain treats closeness like a threat, not a reward. So, yes, she might be thinking about you constantly, replaying conversations, checking your social media at 2 a.m., asking mutual friends how you're doing, keeping your old messages. All of that is real. But it's not love. It's a coping mechanism. She's thinking about you from a safe distance where she can feel the longing without facing the vulnerability, where she can miss you without risking rejection, where she can want you without having to actually show up. And this is the part that's going to hurt, but you need to hear it. The more she thinks about you while doing nothing, the less likely she is to ever do something. Because in her mind, the thinking is the relationship. The obsessing is the connection. She's getting her emotional fix, that sense of caring about someone without having to pay the price of actual closeness. There's a concept in psychology called rumination, repetitive thinking that doesn't lead to action. It's when your mind gets stuck in a loop analyzing the same situation over and over without moving forward. That's exactly what's happening to her. She's ruminating about you, but rumination and resolution are two completely different things. Her brain has learned that as long as she keeps thinking, she doesn't have to make a decision. As long as she keeps wondering, what if she doesn't have to face the reality of commitment or the finality of letting go? And every day she does this, the pattern gets stronger, the neural pathways get deeper, the habit becomes more ingrained. Here's what I want you to understand. You being on her mind doesn't warm you on cold nights. It doesn't show up when you need support. It doesn't build a future with you. Her thinking about you is happening in her private mental space where there are no consequences, no vulnerability, no risk. It's the safest form of caring that exists because it requires nothing of her. And while she's in her head, you're in the real world, alone, wondering, waiting, slowly losing pieces of yourself to someone who can't even text you back consistently. If this helped you, even a little please, leave a comment and subscribe. Your support truly motivates me to keep sharing this message. Now let me show you the signs you need to watch for. So you might be wondering, how do I know if she's thinking about me? And more importantly, how do I know if it means anything? Let me walk you through the observable patterns, the things you can actually see, and more importantly, what they really mean. She watches your Instagram stories religiously. She knows where you went last weekend, who you were with what you're up to, but she doesn't like anything, doesn't comment, doesn't reach out. This is what I call safe surveillance. She's maintaining a connection to you that requires zero vulnerability on her part. She gets to feel involved in your life without actually being in your life. And here's the thing, this can go on for months, even years, because as long as she can watch from a distance, she never has to face the discomfort of real interaction. Then there's the indirect approach. How is he doing? Is he seeing anyone? What's he up to these days? She's gathering information about you, but never directly from you, because going through someone else gives her deniability. It keeps her safe. She gets her questions answered without having to expose herself to you. If you were truly important enough to act on, she'd ask you herself. Every few weeks or months, you get these texts. Hey, how are you? Thinking about you? Hope you're doing well. Just enough to keep you on the hook, just enough to ease her own guilt or discomfort, but never enough to actually rebuild anything. These texts aren't invitations. They're pacifiers for her, not you. They allow her to tell herself, I'm still trying, without actually trying at all. And then there's this, old photos still on her phone, your messages undeleted, gifts you gave her still in her room. A person who was genuinely moving on would clear these out. But a person who wants to hold on to the idea of you without the reality of you, they keep everything. Because physical items are safe. They can't reject her. They can't require emotional availability. You run into each other and her face changes, or someone mentions your name and she gets quiet or defensive or overly casual. These reactions prove you affect her. But here's what you need to understand. Being affected by someone and being able to be with someone are completely different things. I can be moved by a piece of music that makes me cry, but that doesn't mean I'm capable of performing it. The emotional response exists, but the capacity doesn't. Now, here's what no one wants to tell you, but I will. Every single one of these signs can be true. She can be thinking about you, constantly, obsessively even, and it still doesn't mean she's coming back. Because thinking about you has become her comfort zone. It's familiar, it's safe. It requires nothing of her except mental energy, and mental energy is cheap. Do you know what would change this pattern? Not your patience, not your availability, not you becoming better somehow. What changes this pattern is her doing deep therapeutic work on her attachment style. It's her recognizing that her behavior is hurting both herself and others. It's her making a conscious, sustained effort to change how she relates to closeness. And I'm going to be real with you, most people don't do that work until they've lost something that truly mattered to them, until the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the pain of changing. Your job is not to be that lesson for her. Your job is not to give up your well-being to teach her about consequences. Your job is to recognize what's happening and protect yourself accordingly. Because here's the thing about obsessive thinking without action. It can last forever. She can think about you for years while living a completely separate life. She can miss you while dating other people. She can wonder what if while never doing anything about it. And if you're waiting for that thinking to transform into action, you could be waiting your entire life. Okay? We need to have a difficult conversation now. And I need you to really listen, because this is where most men lose years of their lives. I know you've probably told yourself she just needs time, she has trauma, she has trust issues. If I'm just patient enough, understanding enough, she'll heal and come back. Listen to me carefully. You cannot love someone into healing. You cannot patience someone into therapy. You cannot wait someone into emotional availability. Her healing is her job, not yours. And I say this as someone who's been on both sides. There was a time in my life when I was that avoidant person, and there were men who waited for me. Good men, men who deserved so much better than what I could give them. And you know what finally made me change? Not their patience, not their understanding. It was hitting rock bottom. It was losing someone who actually walked away and meant it. It was finally feeling the full weight of my own patterns with no one there to cushion the fall. She can think about you 24/7 and still be completely incapable of giving you consistency, emotional availability, or commitment. Capacity and feelings are not the same thing. A person can have deep feelings while having zero capacity to express them in healthy ways. Think about it this way. I might deeply love the idea of running a marathon. I might think about it all the time, visualize crossing the finish line, get emotional watching videos of other people doing it. But if I haven't trained, if I haven't put in the work, if I haven't built up the endurance, guess what? I'm not running that marathon. My feelings about it are irrelevant. The same applies here. Her feelings about you, however real they might be, are irrelevant if she doesn't have the capacity to act on them in a healthy way. Now, let me ask you something that might sting a little. Why are you still holding on? Is it really because you love her that much? Or is it because you're afraid of starting over? Afraid of being alone? Afraid that you won't find someone else? I've worked with enough men to know that often staying isn't about love, it's about fear. Fear that she was the one and you'll never find better. Fear that walking away means admitting you chose wrong. Fear that all the time you invested will have been wasted. But here's the thing. The time is already spent. It's gone. The only question is whether you're going to spend more time the same way. And staying with someone out of fear isn't love, it's just fear. How many times have you thought, if I could just understand why, if she could just explain, if we could just have one honest conversation, then I could move on? No, you don't need her closure. You need to give yourself permission to close the door. Closure doesn't come from the other person. It comes from you deciding that you've had enough, that you deserve more, that you're worth someone who doesn't need to be convinced to choose you. Yes, if you truly walk away and implement no contact, it will affect her. She probably will think about you even more. She might even reach out eventually. And when she does, you need to understand something crucial. That reach out will likely be driven by her need to relieve her own discomfort, not by genuine change. True change takes months, sometimes years, of consistent therapeutic work. It doesn't happen because someone misses you. It happens because someone finally decides they're tired of their own patterns hurting them and everyone around them. So if she reaches out, after 2 weeks a month, even 3 months, unless you see evidence of sustained therapeutic work, nothing has fundamentally changed. She's just uncomfortable with the consequences of her choices. And here's the part that might sound harsh, but it's true. Her discomfort with those consequences is the only thing that might eventually motivate real change. By being available to her, by accepting breadcrumbs, by lowering your boundaries, you're actually preventing her from experiencing the full weight of her patterns. You're not helping her by staying, you're enabling her. All right, so you understand what's happening now. You understand the psychology, you understand the signs, you understand the hard truths. Now what? Stop looking for hidden meanings. Her watching your stories doesn't mean she wants you back. Her asking about you doesn't mean anything will change. Her keeping your photos doesn't indicate future action. Stop trying to decode every small behavior looking for hope. You're reading tea leaves and it's keeping you stuck. Implement real no contact, and I mean real no contact. Not, I'll just check her profile once a day. Not, I'll respond if she reaches out. Real, complete cold turkey no contact. Block or mute her on social media. Delete her number or change her name to do not answer with a reminder of why. Remove everything that keeps you connected to her digital presence. This isn't punishment. This isn't to get a reaction. This is self-preservation. You cannot heal from someone you're still consuming content about. Stop asking, why is she doing this? What does it mean? How do I get her back? Start asking, what do I want from a relationship? What are my non-negotiables? Who do I want to become? The focus needs to shift from her to you because she's living her life, making her choices. And you need to do the same. You're going to miss her. You're going to think about reaching out. You're going to have moments of weakness where you wonder if you're making a mistake. Feel all of that, but don't act on it. There's a difference between feeling your emotions and letting your emotions drive your decisions. You can miss someone and still know that going back would be bad for you. Start building a life that you're not willing to let anyone disrupt. Invest in friendships, pursue goals, work on yourself not to win her back, but because you deserve to be the best version of yourself, regardless of who's in your life. Because here's what happens. When you build a genuinely fulfilling life, if she ever does come back, you'll be able to evaluate the situation clearly. You won't be desperate. You won't lower your standards. You'll be able to ask, does this person add value to the life I've built, or would they disrupt it? And if she doesn't come back, you'll already be living well anyway. Look, I know this is hard to hear. I know you came here maybe hoping I'd tell you that her thinking about you means something more than it does. but you deserve the truth. And the truth is, she can think about you every single day, and it still might never translate into the consistent, healthy, reciprocal love that you deserve. You're not a thought experiment. You're not a mental exercise. You're not someone's backup plan, or there maybe someday. You're a human being who deserves to be loved in more than just someone's mind. You deserve actions, not just intentions. You deserve presence, not just memories. And here's what I want you to remember. You don't need her to recognize your worth for it to be real. You don't need her to choose you for you to be worthy of being chosen. You don't need her validation to move forward. The strength you're looking for isn't in making her see you differently. It's in seeing yourself clearly and recognizing that you're worth more than waiting for someone who can't show up. If this message resonated with you, if you're ready to start choosing yourself, please subscribe to Inside Her Psychology. I create content to help you understand relationship dynamics, not to trap you in them, but to free you from them. Drop a comment below and tell me what's one thing you're going to do differently after watching this. I'll see you in the next video. And remember, you're not alone in this. Take care of yourself.